Now, as far as the Dalai Lama issue is concerned, I would like to speak about that also a bit, just for your understanding, because that is very important. Let me talk a bit about the Dalai Lama. After this, we have only the trade and other issues to talk about, but this is something very interesting. Okay. So, Tibet was declared as an autonomous territory in 1955 in China, but otherwise Tibet was always either sometimes it is independent, sometimes it is captured by China. This seesaw battle was going on. The last time Tibet was captured by China was in 1940s, and since then it is in the hands of China. And Tibet is ruled, or rather it is predominantly by the Tibetan Buddhists, but these Tibetan Buddhists are not a single, they are not a single community. Okay. And the Tibetan revolt took place in 1959, and Dalai Lama and his team has entered India since then. Otherwise, we had a very historic link between India and Tibet. Now, one of the things you should know is that there are 4 different sects in Tibetan Buddhism. 4 sects in Tibetan Buddhism, and one is called the Nyingma. Nyingma Pa. Pa is a sect. Okay. There is an ancient tradition, they are called the ancient tradition. Nyingma Pa is the name of that sect, and another one is called the Kagyupa. This is the oral tradition. Okay, oral tradition where they communicate and through music and everything, they transfer their knowledge from one generation to another. So, the ancient one, the Nyingma Pa, Kagyupa. Then then this Kagyupa is led by its leader is called Karmapa. Karmapa is the head of Kagyupa sect, and this Karmapa is also staying in India only. He has also escaped from he has also escaped from Tibet, and he is staying in India. Then one second. Then we have a third sect called Sakyupa. Pa is sect. Okay, please understand Sakyupa, the scholarly tradition. Okay. The scholarly tradition, the scholars, they are scholars, the scholarly tradition. And finally, the reformists, the Aam Aadmi, the general public, a fourth sect is called Gelyugpa. Gelyugpa. Pa is sect, okay, please do not confuse. So, there is Nyingma Pa, Kagyupa, Sakyupa and Gelyugpa. This Gelyugpa is the, I will say it is a reformist, the common men, there is a liberal, reformist, liberal, and this Gelyugpa has maximum followers, and this is led by Dalai Lama. Okay. Dalai Lama is a Dalai Lama means the ocean, or rather it is a Mongol, it is a Mongolian name, is a enlightenment, okay, or this is something, it is a the king of the ocean, something like that. Okay. Dalai Lama is a post, it is a position. Okay. The present Dalai Lama is the 14th Dalai Lama, please understand this, is the 14th Dalai Lama. See, the tradition, the British, the Tibetan tradition is, once a Dalai Lama completes his worldly living, when once he is ascended into heaven. I do not know, in Buddhism there is no concept of heaven also. So, once the Dalai Lama completes his term, his soul will enter into another person, another child, and who will be the next Dalai Lama. I mean, it will be their belief and faith is that after one Dalai Lama's life term is over, his soul will enter into another person, a small kid, and he will grow up as the next Dalai Lama. It is the duty of the community to identify in whom, in which child this Dalai Lama's soul has entered. Okay. So, in the in the tradition, the Tibetan tradition, similar to Dalai Lama, there is another post called Panchen Lama. We can say the number 2, and during the time of the lifetime of Dalai Lama, if a Panchen Lama dies, this Dalai Lama will identify a Panchen Lama, and so there will be an age gap between them, okay. And this Panchen Lama in turn will identify a new Dalai Lama after the death of the present Dalai Lama. So, this cycle continues, because they believe that the one Dalai Lama will enter into, or other soul will enter into another, and that is how the cycle continues. So, the present Dalai Lama, he was identified in late 1930s, after the death of the 13th Dalai Lama. The 14th Dalai Lama was identified. It is a small boy in one of the villages. See, normally the tradition is the Panchen Lama led team will be searching for where this Dalai Lama has entered, or other in which in a body this has entered. So, it is a big search exercise, maybe a couple of months or a couple of years it may take to identify the new Dalai Lama, and once a boy is identified, maybe from some village, he will be taken to the palace, given all training, because maybe a 5-year-old, 6-year-old boy, it will take some time for him to understand and study and learn everything. So, the rest of the courtier will rule the country at that time. He is not only a religious leader, he is also the political leader. So, that is how our Dalai Lama was identified. So, one controversy about this I would like to talk about is, in 1995, after the death of the then Panchen Lama, our Dalai Lama identified a boy in some remote village in Tibet as the next Panchen Lama. Okay. The present Dalai Lama sitting in Dharamshala, he has not gone. After 1959, he came to India because of the dispute between China and India regarding the autonomy and all, and there was a revolt like situation. Chinese army was sent, and the revolt ultimately led to he flooding. He had to flew from there. He had no choice. He along with his supporters entered into India through our Jalapla, through Sikkim he entered. So, in 1995 he identified a boy called Genden Choiki. The name of this boy is a Tibetan name. So, like our name Ramesh, Ganesh, no, Nima. The name of the boy whom Dalai Lama declared as the Panchen Lama. Ideally, the Dalai Lama would have been travelling in the villages and identifying a boy, but this time since he was in exile in India, he could not go, but from sitting here he identified a boy's name and said, using his third eye, we can say, he declared this as the new Panchen Lama. The moment this boy's name was declared, the Chinese government abducted this boy and the entire family, and we do not know anything about this boy since then. No idea about this boy. Why? This boy was abducted by the Chinese government. The Chinese secret service agents came within no time to the village, identified the boy, and the entire family was abducted. No news about this boy since then. In 2015, After 20 years of this abduction, China issued a one line clarification saying that this boy is still alive and hale and healthy, that is all. Nobody knows where is he, what is he doing, nothing. He was identified by Dalai Lama as the next Panchen Lama. But in between, what China did is, once this news came out, China, using their own Communist Party setup, they identified a Panchen Lama, a communist Panchen Lama we can say, a communist fellow, as they declared, the Chinese government declared, this is the new Panchen Lama. See, because the problem in ordinary citizens, there is so much of censorship and the news will not be going out that easily. So, China declared one fellow as a Panchen Lama, even though Dalai Lama actually declared somebody else. Now, this new boy, the communists identified a fellow called Gyaltsen Norbu. China identified another boy, similar age, as the Panchen Lama, and without they have this Gyaltsen Norbu had no connection with the Dalai Lama or anything. So, now China has officially given the status to him as the new Panchen Lama, and he is taken around, he is given protection, he is given all facilities in Tibet. So, he is treated as the Panchen Lama because the ordinary citizens may not be knowing what is actually happening there. So, this Gyaltsen Norbu is continuing as the Panchen Lama in Tibet nowadays with the blessings of Chinese government. That is why a few months before, Dalai Lama in one of the interview, he said this custom and tradition of searching the new Dalai Lama and all should stop, and he was even suggesting that this idea of the soul of the Dalai Lama entering into another boy and all, we should reconsider this. He said this tradition should be stopped now, because he know that tomorrow after his death, China will not recognize any new name suggested by the people, the Tibetans in exile in India. They will declare one Dalai Lama from their side using their Gyaltsen Norbu, their Panchen Lama, and they want to completely alter the custom and tradition of the Tibetan community, and Dalai Lama is well aware of it, and China has no interest in talking to Dalai Lama or reconciling with Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama tried his level best, even the international community tried their level best to help such a way that Dalai Lama and his the people, the supporters can go back and some point in time before his death, because he is already getting aged. But unfortunately, China is so adamant, they are not democratic, they are undemocratic country, they are so adamant that they do not want to deal with Dalai Lama at all. So, this Dalai Lama, as long as Dalai Lama is alive and he is present in India, according to many experts, China will never settle the dispute between India and China. They will settle the dispute and problems within India only after the end of the life of Dalai Lama. That is what many people are feeling and fearing. So, that is how there is no progress between India and China. Anyway, so these are Rinpoche is not correct, that is a Malayalam version of all these things, it is not. Okay. So, this Gyaltsen Norbu is the name of the person, and earlier the the Dalai Lama identified this Chokyi Nyima as the the Panchen Lama, that is the truth. Okay. So, how actually they find the soul, so do not worry, you do not have to worry about that, it is their problem, it is a part of their belief and tradition and custom, apna tarika hai, they will do, and please enjoy that. Okay. Be happy that what is going on there, that is all. Okay. So, you describe Dalai Lama, yes, that is I know, I mean there was a Malayalam movie and based on all these things, that is they have given a different name, but this is actual thing, actually happened in 1995, okay. So, that is the thing. So, when and how the concept, see that is how a religion has started, okay. Some tradition, some writing, like how our Ramayana Mahabharata is written, or all those issues we ask, how a religion started. So, same way our Buddhism started, and this tradition started in Tibet. Say 14th Dalai Lama, you can imagine how many times it has happened, okay, 14 times it has already happened. So, hundreds of years history we have to talk about this. Okay. So, anyway, that is I mean, that's all for today. So, I will be stopping here. So,